Down by 2, now they're out of timeouts. Down by 2, 1.3 left. Down 2, gets a shot off.
Down by 2.
Happy New Year! Welcome to 2024 and another episode of the Down by 2 podcast. It's your host, Josh Elijah. Hopefully you had a wonderful holidays. Hopefully you had a great New Year. Lots of fun and time spent with family and friends and lots of resolutions. I know that I had a great time over the holidays because I got to spend it with my one and only Birdman. How you doing, baby?
That was
Good
a
to see
nice,
you, buddy.
unexpected surprise.
Oh yeah, being able to go
Oh,
down
yeah.
and cover the Rap Toys 905 was a disappointment if you're a Raptors fan. But lots that was going on over the holidays. We got even a little holiday gift from Masai Ujiri as well. With the big old trade that we've been discussing for nonstop basically since it happened last Saturday. But yeah, it's been a great start to the new year, my man. How was your New Year's? How was everything?
It was fantastic. Very low key. Hung out with some of Steph's friends at one of her friends' places, and just played some card games. Played
Sick.
like dominoes. Just kept it super chill, man. Listen, we're in our 30s, bro. We're not going clubbing anymore. Not going to the bars on King Street and like waiting 2 hours to get in negative degree weather, or waiting an hour to get an Uber home and paying like a 5 times surcharge. I'm just not interested, man.
Well, hey, look, I mean, you're speaking for a small percentage of grown-ups in their 30s because
I was gonna
I
say, did you
know.
do all of that?
No, but just like on the Hamilton version of things, it wasn't as King Street-esque because, well, I mean, like, hey, we know plenty of mandems that go down and do that type of thing. Like that's
They make their whole weekend that, and it's
ooh,
just
I don't have
cringe
the
for me. I
I don't
can't.
have the energy for that anymore. I mean, like we went to the Collective Arts and saw Wing Night. I don't know if you've ever heard of Wing Night. They are a fantastic band. They've been around for a while.
That's a cool
Think
name.
Wing Night, right? It's
Yeah.
sick. Think Dwayne Gretzky, but hip hop.
Oh, I like
So
that.
it's
I like that
still
better.
like a 10 piece band playing all of the bangers over the decades. Yeah, man, it was really sick. Collective Arts too is an awesome spot, man. I remember going there. It was a small
Yes.
little tap room, and then now they have a whole concert venue basically, and it's just big wide open event space, and they put on some great shows. So yeah, I spent it in the Hammer with Stevie and Nikki. Shout out to the Trebales and the Drybergs, and got to hang out. Yeah, Brad was down there too. Master Aldworth, who we'll be
Sick.
having on next week for our one of our playoff preview episodes for the NFL. But before we get into that type of stuff, any New Year's resolutions for the Birdman?
Ooh. Honestly, dude,
Anything spicy?
this is like probably maybe kind of weird. Like, this is not most people's New Year's resolutions, but for me
Hit me.
personally, this is just like something I've had on my list for years, and I just never get around to it. I want to put out some music, like something that is professionally recorded, and you can go on Spotify and just toss it on.
Yeah.
I've had music on Spotify. Like, I've been in bands before,
Yeah, of
obviously.
course. I mean, you
Um,
are
but it's just been so
talented
long,
musician. Yeah.
and it's always been with other people, and I just want to do something myself and
So
just
you're
have
thinking
it out
solo
there.
project?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
Love
so this
that.
is kind of a weird one. It's not a normal New Year's resolution, like, going to the gym or something like that, but it's just a little
You calling me a
something that I
basic bitch because I'm going to the
No,
gym?
no, that's amazing. That's not really like a New Year's resolution. You've been doing that for a little while.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just trying to be healthy. I mean, just like being
2024 is healthy boys.
Healthy
all year.
boys.
That's what we're doing. That's
Down by
our
health.
resolution.
We're gonna have Gil Ansa on every other episode, and he's
Yeah,
gonna
to
give us
check in on our
yeah,
weights.
just to make sure we're being good boys.
Yeah,
Um,
chicken,
I mean,
broccoli, rice.
yeah, push-ups.
Yeah.
Man, that's sick though. I love that. Are you gonna be? Are you gonna be doing anything like? Is it gonna be under Jesse McKay? Is it gonna be under Birdman?
I don't know
Gonna
yet.
be
Yeah,
under
yeah,
some
Birdman.
alias? I mean,
Well,
that'd
listen,
be fucking sick.
if I do any like hip hop stuff, Birdman has to be my producer name. But
Yeah, yeah.
I might get a cease and desist from the Birdman, Cash Money Birdman.
From Chris Anderson.
Is that his name? Oh no, no not the basketball player, you ding dong.
I know.
Yeah, the basketball player. Dude, can't use that name.
Oh man. Oh dude, yeah,
What a
that's
silly name.
caw. Sick, man. I look forward to hearing it, man. And like you've always come up with some spicy beats. You produced all the music for this show, and you're very, very talented. And to be able to go and put something out like that, I mean, like by all means, like that's a fucking awesome goal to have, and just branch off and do, because you're right, you've been in a bunch of bands, and
Mhm.
I've admired you from afar. I would love to see you play live too,
Oh man,
which
I
is
would love to play live again.
yeah, man.
It's been like 5 years, I think, since I've been on a stage. So
It's hey, you know what? I mean, you start putting out your own solo shit, and then next thing you know, you could start booking some gigs. So
yeah,
that would be amazing, man. Kudos to you. I think that's awesome. Yeah,
thanks,
I
buddy.
mean, I don't aside from, I just just trying to eat healthier, trying to cut out fast food, that type of stuff.
Mhm.
So far so good. I'm just like eating chicken and rice and veggies every day.
Once you get into routine of it, it's so easy, man. It's just getting the
It
routine down
is.
that's the hardest
Yeah.
part, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be I'm gonna be breaking routine come this weekend, and we'll jump right into that though.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm gonna be having myself some sloppy American fast food. Part of, I guess, a resolution for our show and for Down by Two and Crier Media as a network. We're constantly trying to expand our coverage and expand our reach, and especially when it comes to this show, try and give our audience something fresh and new and exciting for them to sink their teeth into. We're going to try different things when it comes to content creation and really mix things up, because this 2023 was a year of growth, and we're going to continue to do that into the new year as well. And just having a positive mindset about things, and really just take it on as much as we can, and being able to expand. We got some fun stuff coming up with the MLB, with the minor leagues as well. We've been doing our stuff with the Raptors 905. We got the Orlando Magic coming up. But one thing that we really wanted to sink our teeth into, and be able to, I guess, branch out towards, is really breaking out into those major sports, when it comes to either the NFL, MLB, NHL, what have you. Those have been in our crosshairs, and one that we finally have been able to breach and get sign off from the league, and from the team itself, is the NFL, and we are very, very excited. Drum roll, please. We are now going to be covering the Carolina Panthers. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The last place seed in the NFL is all ours, baby. We are going to be bringing you exclusive coverage of the Carolina Panthers starting this weekend. Week 18, we made it in right before the end of the regular season, and we're going to be giving you live coverage in Charlotte, North Carolina, as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are coming in for week 18 to face the Carolina Panthers. Wow.
Hell yeah.
This
Man, we
is
got one. That's
fucking
all that fucking
huge.
matters.
We got in. It's this is the start of a great relationship with the organization as well. Very, very excited. We've shopped around, but this has been our angle. This is what we've wanted to do, and that's why we wanted to get in. We want to get in on the ground level when it comes to a team that has a lot of promising pieces. Now, Carolina, obviously, they're last place this year, and their draft pick with Bryce Young, and they made some offseason signings, and things just did not pan out the way that they wanted. This was really not a breakout year. This is not what everyone was expecting from their number one pick overall. Not a flop though. He is not a flop. He's shown a lot of promise. Carolina in and of itself, they are an organization that can figure things out, and this is a season of learning and growth. I'm specifically excited to be able to follow this team and follow the Canadian Tuba Hubbard as well. Which is their running back, who's really taken over the number one role after signing Miles Sanders from the Philadelphia Eagles and him taking a backseat for the majority of the season. So there's a lot of exciting pieces. Adam Thielen has been playing great as well as a wide receiver. They've got some big issues that they have to address, and there's a lot of things that this organization is going to have to do in the offseason, reevaluate a lot of things. But do not feel bad if Bryce Young is your quarterback. He's the quarterback of your future. You traded for him. You gave up your picks because, hey, you would have gotten the number one pick this year, but that's now sent over to Chicago. So, I mean, there's a lot. It hasn't been pretty this season. It really hasn't. You're last place in the NFL, but we are excited to cover because not only that, it is a tight division.
Oh, this
Very,
is a
very tight
massive game with a ton of implications for the playoffs picture, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
there's
absolutely.
a crazy log jam for the wild card spot, man.
Yes.
And the Buccaneers coming in, they need this win desperately.
Oh, they need it bad.
You're looking for the Panthers to play spoiler right now, and it's going to be an exciting game, man.
It's gonna be nuts. Being down there, Tampa Bay has everything to lose, and Carolina has nothing to lose, and that is when a team can be the most dangerous.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
we've seen it time and time again.
Look, the spread is -4.5, and I gotta say, I mean, I've been chatting with some of my buddies, around, talking about different picks for the NFL this weekend, final week. There's a lot of uncertainty with certain teams, whether or not they're going to make it in or not. There's going to be a lot of teams that are resting, but this is one case where Carolina, I think that they're going to come out gunning. And I think that they want to ruin some seasons because basically the way that this breaks down for the NFC South is if Tampa wins, they're in. They don't have to worry about anything because they win out. It doesn't matter between New Orleans or when it comes to the Falcons, who really don't even deserve to be in this race at all. But there are implications because if Tampa does lose, then then it could be trouble because that means New Orleans has a chance to win and make it into the playoffs. Same thing with the Falcons. If the Falcons win, they could potentially take over the division as well. There's some certain implications, and we're going to get into that actually right now when we take a look at the NFC playoff picture as well. As you can see broken down here, we have Tampa Bay right now with the stronghold on the NFC South. But that means if New Orleans beats Atlanta, then they're in. If Atlanta beats New Orleans, then they're in. So it's tough. It's tough to Tampa cannot afford to lose this game. But that's where Carolina can be dangerous. Like anything can happen. And the spread is only -4.5.
Yeah,
Does
that
that say
tells you a
anything
lot.
to you, Jesse?
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a close game.
It's going to be a close game, and it was the last time that they faced each other back earlier in the season. I believe Tampa only won like 21-19 or 18 or something like that. So yeah, the spread did cover. I think it's close. I have buddies that are taking Carolina on the money line. So like a lot of people aren't. They're seeing Tampa Bay with a bit of digression from what we saw mid-season from them. Baker's a little banged up. I don't know. I feel like this could be quite a game. And this is, an amazing time for us to be able to get in and get our feet wet for our first coverage with the NFL. I'm very, very excited to be live on location for this. I'm going to be missing you, my man. I'm really going to be missing you. This was really last minute that we were able to actually squeeze this in, but I'm glad that we did. have fun at Travis Scott, though.
I
My guy.
know.
Oh,
Thank you.
dude.
Yeah, it's
Eternity.
what a hell of a choice, eh? Either
Choice.
go to Travis Scott or cover an NFL game.
Cover an NFL game.
I mean,
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's gonna be wild. The ride down. I mean, we're driving from Toronto, Canada, and we're driving down with the homie Josh McDonald. Shout out Josh. I mean, really excited to be able to have one of my homies down there and help me with some coverage. It's gonna be sick. And yeah, there's again a lot of implications to this as well. Week 18 is going to go a long way to deciding who makes the playoffs or not. It looks like my Rams are going to be safe, so no matter what, they're in. If Green Bay loses, they're out. If Tampa Bay or if Seattle loses, I mean, there's just a whole lot that can happen here.
yeah, it's gonna be
I
a
mean,
hell of a Sunday.
Green Bay, don't think you got a layup here when it comes to Chicago. I mean, the Bears have been playing incredible
They've been
football
hot.
since Justin Fields has made his way back. So there's a whole lot that can happen underneath there. My Rams are safe, but they want to keep that 6 seed because damn, that is just poetic. If we get to face Detroit next week, that is just the NFL script writers. Mwah, they got it down this year. It's insane. But yeah, Minnesota, really not a whole lot to worry about. Literally all of these teams have to lose and then they have to beat Detroit, which it could happen, but I'm really not too worried about them. The Saints could squeak in. It could be Seattle. It could be Green Bay. It's really up in the air at this point. But yeah, because the Rams beat both Seattle, they beat them both games 2-0, and then the New Orleans Saints, they beat the Saints as well. They can't fall any lower than 7th. So that is the implication for that. Really, it's looking like it's a race between New Orleans and Seattle to get that final spot in the wild card there. So
Hey man, I'm rooting hard for Carolina because I was telling you about my preseason future
yeah,
parlay
man.
that I put together. So I had New Orleans winning their division. So man, I'm hoping that
Ooh,
Carolina can take down
dude.
Tampa Bay,
Are you
bro.
gonna take them on the money line against Atlanta too? Because it's gonna be close.
Man,
They're at
I might
home.
have to. I might
They're at
have to.
home. Yeah. So I
Yeah,
mean, it's
might as well do it.
you might
I
as
mean, hey,
well.
this parlay could help us pay for some flights here. So let's
Or at least get us some Cracker Barrel in the morning.
yeah, uh, take you
Yeah,
out for
man.
brunch.
Ooh. Yeah, man. There's a whole lot going on in the NFC, and we're gonna have the answers come Sunday. And we're gonna be live on location to give you those answers as well. Let's quickly touch on the AFC as well, because there are some. It's a bit of a tighter race. Not too much can change. Jacksonville really has to shit the bed if they somehow do not end up with a playoff spot. But basically, Buffalo and Miami right here are playing for their division. So whoever wins this game wins their division. That's the way it works out.
Oh wow, they play each other. That's
They play each
crazy.
other too. Yeah. And Miami's a bit banged up. So I'm definitely liking Buffalo going into that. The
Mm.
problem is a lot of people are on Buffalo's nuts right now. Everyone's on Buffalo. They're playing. Their offense hasn't been great, but their defense has been phenomenal. So really, it comes down
Who
to
has the
whether or not.
tiebreaker?
Sorry.
Who has the
It would be
tiebreaker?
Buffalo because Buffalo beat
Ah,
Miami earlier, so they would take the division.
okay.
Miami's still got a playoff spot no matter what. And then it's basically winning in for Houston or Indiana or Indianapolis. They're both facing each other as well. So you win, you're in. If Jacksonville loses to Tennessee, then that could have a whole bunch of other implications based on what happens here. Basically, if Jacksonville loses and whoever wins from these teams from Houston or Indianapolis and Pittsburgh beats the Ravens, then Jacksonville is out, and that would be a major choke.
Wow.
So there's a whole lot to go on again on Sunday. There's some Saturday games too. Shit's about to go down. It's getting nutty.
Pooh's getting nutty.
Who is getting nutty? Man, so there's just a lot to go on, and then we're going to be bringing you some playoff picture action starting next week as well. It's January. I mean, it's the time for it. We got a lot of NBA coverage coming up too, but this is the stuff that we wait for all year. We've been all over the place when it comes to our coverage, but it's gut check time. It's week 18, and there is a whole lot to be decided, and I cannot wait to be bringing you some of this action live on location down in Charlotte, North Carolina. So let's kick it over to the coverage that I got to do for that game. So check it out. Here it is, week 18, Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Charlotte against the Carolina Panthers.
Josh Elijah down by 2 in Crier Media. We are live here in Charlotte, North Carolina for Week 18 at Bank of America Stadium as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers come to town to face the Carolina Panthers. If the Tampa Bay Bucs win, they are into the playoffs. If they lose, they leave the door open for either New Orleans or Atlanta to take the NFC South. So Carolina can really go a long way to either make or break some seasons here. So we're going to have to stay tuned to find out how this one all plays out. Got a couple picks for you heading into Week 18 with the Bucs and Panthers. Starting off with a Baker Mayfield interception. We're going to take an interception within the game. Not saying he's going to have a bad game because he's definitely going to facilitate Mike Evans for over 62.5 yards. So we're going to take the over on that. We're also going to throw in an anytime Mike Evans touchdown throughout the game as well. I still think the Carolina Panthers are going to be able to cover the spread. We're going to tease that to 5.5 on the spread. Most books have it at 4.5 or 5, but we're going to tease it just for that extra half point as well. And then we're also going to take the over on the points as well. We're definitely going to expect a bit of a high-scoring game when it comes to this. Carolina hasn't scored more than 18 points this entire season, but if they can score in and around that zone and then have Tampa as well match that, I definitely think that the over is going to be able to hit on this game. Honestly, Carolina, they have the chance to be able to make an upset and give Tampa Bay a bit of problems when it comes to this game. I definitely think the NFC is still up for grabs, but I still think Tampa's going to come out with the win, just not by more than 5 points.
Chris, you were part of the 0-16 round season. What did you learn from that about maybe kind of, I know you left Cleveland after that, but about, resiliency from the coaching standpoint, from a player standpoint, the guys that have come out of that?
I think everything that I've said since I've taken over, it's about the tape. What does your tape say? I mean, yes, 0-16 is horrible. This isn't much better. And how you go from here is obviously, it's going to talk a lot about how you are as a person. I learned a lot that year, and just kind of continue to try to keep getting better.
What do you think outside of those turnovers kind of stunted the offense, maybe in this second half? Just kind of.
Well, obviously, I mean those turnovers were killers. And I'll say, with the penalty, that's a turnover. And I know, because was that, correct me if I'm wrong, was after the touchdown, is that when we got the I don't want to call sack fumble, but guy came around the edge. So yeah, you're talking about the plays that we did to ourselves that we are in control of. That's disappointing. That's I guess I'm being really nice about that. But we said that we were going to come in here and run the football. And even if they stuffed us, we were still going to try to run the football, and I thought we stuck to that plan pretty good.
We understand that's part of the game. So yeah, it's not an ideal situation, but we still have to be able to turn the page, go back. It's whatever it is. Now it's 2nd and 10, and now it's like whatever it was. You just gotta regroup. It's tough, but that's part of the game. That's not just we all do that.
Bryce, I know it's probably not the time for self-reflection or anything like that, but initially, just what can you take from this season?
Yeah, right now, like you said, it's tough. There hasn't really been a sit down and think about big picture, reflect. Hasn't been it. We just got off the field not too long ago. Really, I don't want to just tell you something just to say it's not the truth. Really, we've just been focused week to week. We still have that. Obviously, things just find out.
How hard this has been on you?
Obviously, this is a different level. There's not really much I can compare about stuff from my past, good or bad. This is a different level, different league. And yeah, it presents unique challenges for sure. But ultimately, things are what they are. It's an opportunity for me to grow. Figuring out, just ways to push myself to be better. Again, we all have that mindset. So that's the approach towards it.
We'll take Scott Fowler, and then we'll take Scott Fowler, and then we'll take Sheeman, and then we'll wrap it up.
Bryce, I was just going to ask you, did you think it was even conceivable that this offense would be shut out 2 weeks in a row when you began the season?
That's not a way that we've thought.
Sheeman?
During training camp, Aaron Rodgers shared that the advice he gave to you was to show yourself grace. How often during this season, which has been a tough one, have you kind of relegated back to those words, not just from him, but advice that other vets gave you coming into your rookie season?
Yeah, that advice, and like you said, advice from a lot of vets, again, it's very appreciated. And it's just kind of just been that, trying to find that balance in that of, like you said, giving yourself grace, and giving yourself the ability to move on, but also not being complacent and understanding that, you're not entitled to things, and you're not entitled to better days just because you're not in the best. So it's a balancing act. It's definitely something that's been in mind and is appreciated and is part of it. But just trying to find that every balance.
All right, thank you, Bryce.
Going into year 2 with, hopefully the same staff and everybody together that, building off a division title or playoff berth this year, and then hopefully running a Super Bowl. I don't have a whole lot of years left, so having an opportunity at Super Bowl was kind of my vision. So when I said, plans have changed, well, we didn't make the playoffs. We didn't even have a chance at the playoffs. So that vision is a little different. Now, that being said, I'm super excited about what the future holds. Obviously there's a lot of things that got to play out, but I believe in this locker room. There's a lot of guys that can play this game at a high level, and I'm excited that with the right people, the right leadership, and the right people in this building, it can be still a special group. So obviously there's a lot of things that are going to take place in the next few weeks, and we'll see what happens. And I'm not guaranteed to be here, so I'm just going to control what I control and see what happens. But I'm excited about what the future looks like in this locker room. But there's going to be a lot of change, so we'll see what happens.
How much would who they bring in here staff-wise, kind of what their vision is, affect what you might want to do or you might ask?
Yeah, no, it'll affect it. But I got a lot of belief that they're going to find a way to make it right. So, that's my vision going forward, is that they're going to find, I committed to being here for 2 years. When we kind of negotiated the contract, I was saying I'm going to be here. I want to be a part of something special, building something special. So I want to uphold that commitment, and I'm excited to see what that looks like.
Obviously, you know who the quarterback's going to be next year. What are your kind of thoughts on Bryce and what he can take from this year as tough as it's been?
Yeah, well, I think again this is the best thing that could have happened to him, in my opinion. Just learn how to deal with some adversity, learning a lot of things that you shouldn't do, not as a person but as a whole organization. And then I think he's shown a lot of times this year what it can be if you put the right people around him, and you kind of cater things to helping this offense score points and winning football games. So I loved playing with him. I told him after the game, it was been a pleasure playing with him and just seeing his growth as a man, as a player, and I hope I get to run it back with him.
On the man piece and the spirit of learning, a lot of people say you can learn the most about somebody when things are tough. What are some of the things you learned about him once the bullets started flying?
Well, he's a great teammate. He's a great friend, and he's a fighter. He's just going to keep going out there even when things are as tough as it possibly can be, pretty much. Especially coming off, never really losing in his career. So for him to be able to handle it with class and just continue to stick to the process, which I see him every single day. He's the same guy he was from day one. He was the end of the season this week, just watching film, being a leader in practice, getting extra reps after practice. Those are the little things that could have easily gone to the wayside. That that he's gonna be a special player. You put the right leader around him, the right people around him, he's going to be a great player. And I think other coaches that I've seen have talked about that.
One more thing for me, Aaron Rodgers' advice to Bryce going into the year was to show himself some grace. Bryce said that some of the vets have given him advice to get away from the game a bit. What advice would you have for him going into his first offseason?
I think just come back hungry. Use this as a chip on your shoulder. I think a lot of times, from my experiences, is you take your failures and you put it on your shoulder as a chip, and you use that as motivation as you go in the off season. I think if the year like this motivates you to get immediately back to work, because you're like, I'm not letting that happen again. I'm not letting that happen again, and I'm gonna do everything in my control to make sure that doesn't happen again. So I would imagine that's his mindset.
Adam, you've done this a lot. What's that like walking off the field, knowing how much turnover is going to be in the locker room, knowing some of these guys might not be?
Yeah, it's tough because we had a special group, we had a special bond in this locker room. To have the season we've had, with all the negative and all the change and the disaster it's been, for this locker room to stick together has been really cool to see. And there's a lot of great men in this locker room, so it's always tough because you just don't know. I don't know what my future holds. I don't know what a lot of these guys' future holds. I don't know what this organization's future holds, but I just want to make sure I told every person I appreciate them, and it's been fun kind of just being in this culture.
And what does your off-season kind of look like, and what are some of the areas of focus that you're going to be really kind of dialing in on?
Yeah, well, I'm excited to get back to work, just training, getting strength back, because as the season goes, you really focus on getting your body healthy and focus on really like football, and then so you're not able to train and lift and keep your strength up. So I'm excited to just get back to training, getting strong, getting faster, quicker, the same things that I've always tried to focus on. And the faster you can get back, that's why it's so important to come out of the season healthy, because the faster you can get back to training and getting your mind and body back, the better.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Well, there you have it. Final score, Tampa Bay 9, Carolina 0. They get shut out for the second straight week in a row to finish off the season 2-15. Not the way that they expected the season to finish out for them. There's going to be a lot of changes within the organization and on the team as well. But for Josh Elijah, Crier Media, and Down by 2, signing off. Have a good night.